Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of High Energy Girl. And today's awesome guest is Lucia Doynel. She is a photographer and a video editor, a filmmaker. And the most exciting thing to me was we talked about spiritual psychology, which she has her major in. And you guys, this was a really interesting conversation, which we went all over the place on. But I think it's really an important talk, and we really focus on talking about helping you to create camera memories, like having confidence in your portraits. And anyway, I'm not going to give too much away because I really just want you to kind of soak it all in. We were all over the place and encourage you to sign up for her free class that she's giving away. All right, so let's go and say hello to Lucia. Hey everyone, welcome to High Energy Girl, a podcast helping women to age stronger because it is never too late to get fit, be strong, and feel sexy. I'm your host, Tracy Gluhite, health coach and personal trainer and founder of highenergygirl.com. Each week, we will either have a guest interview, which will provide you encouragement or an actionable tip to help you age stronger, or I will do a solo episode. Please also join our awesome Facebook group called High Energy Girls, and I'm looking forward to see you on the inside of that group and hope you enjoy today's show. Create Whole Body Wellness, a powerful new advancement in energy medicine. Increase your energy, empower your life. I am super excited to announce that I am now a bioenergetics practitioner. And many people are like, well, what is bioenergetics? So imagine that our body is controlled by our energy field, and these fields get distortions and blockages, which create physical and emotional symptoms. So how do we get energy blockages? From stress, toxins, EMFs, emotional traumas, physical scars, and physical traumas. All you need to do is decode the human body field to get to the root cause and restore your energy for life. For more information, head on over to the blog at highenergygirl.com/bioenergetics with an X. That's BIOENERGETIX, and heal your energy for life. Hey, Lucia, thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so fun.
It's my pleasure. So for the listeners that don't know about you yet, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a photographer, a filmmaker, and a spiritual psychologist. And I moved to the States in 2010 after winning the green card lottery, which is so random. And
What
so
is that?
I know. So I'm originally from Argentina, and I won the green card lottery. So basically, it's this visa that anyone from other countries that have low migrations to the US can apply. And so basically, I never thought I would win, right? But I was just like, I want to do this. This would be amazing, but I'm not attached to it. Just gonna send my application in, and if I get it, I get it. And I forgot about it, and then like months later, I get this envelope saying that I had won the green card and that I just needed to get a meeting at the embassy and go through the process.
Wow, how old were you?
23. Well, 23 at the time I moved to the States. So I was 22.
Okay, cool. So where did you go?
I ended up in LA because at the time, the reason I applied in the first place was because when I was in college, we got this kind of work and travel visa that we could just work the winter, summer, like exchange because of the hemisphere difference, right? And so like it was so fun for me, and I would go to Colorado, and that's how I got started with photography. Like they trained me to take fit photos of the 3 to 6 year olds in the ski school in the ski school. And I was like, oh my God, if I didn't have to do this visa again, like to renew it every time I want to come, that would be amazing. But at the time I won, I was like, well, my aunt lived in LA, and so it would be great to just have family around and just have that support. And then if I want to move back to Colorado for the winters, I can do that. And LA just like sucked me in. And here I am, like 11 years later.
What part?
I'm in the east side of LA. So near Pasadena, it's called Highland Park.
Oh, okay. Okay. My middle son lives down in West LA.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's nice. Like closer to the beach.
Yeah, it's not because of the beach. He works at Oracle. And so he used to live in Santa Monica and then he had to move. And so he's in West LA and now he's moving again. I'm not sure where yet. So we'll see. We will see. So, what do you do now with your photography, your movie making? Like, what's your passion?
Well, I went through many changes. I don't know if you can relate, but once you're put out of a box that you were in your whole life, everything kind of just goes like bang, like, oh, I could do anything. And that was kind of like what happened to me at 23 when I moved to the States. And so I was like, oh, if I could have it all my way, I'm going to go. And I studied like fine arts. I went back into photography and ended up studying spiritual psychology. And I got my master's at USM. And one thing led to another. And now I feel like I'm a hybrid of many things that I'm passionate about. And I try to combine them together in my work because I love transformation. I love how we can just like shift from completely stuck to completely in the flow. That's why I like your podcast. And I I kind of wanted to bring that in my photography. And so I created a practice of coaching people before they even stepped into the studio, how to feel confident in front of the camera, letting go of the bullshit that we're keeping them, like
Love
from
it.
being seen, right? All the baggage. And now I not only like keep on working in that way, making videos for coaches and service providers and photography, but I also now teach those things so people can do it themselves because um I think it's just like a great first step when you're like putting your toes into like, oh, I have to be more on Instagram. I have to put myself out there. And so like doing it yourself sometimes is like kind of like that stepping between hiring a professional and just like getting warmer with that practice of like being in front of the camera.
Oh, got it. Well, what I'm really interested in talking to you about and asking you more about is what is spiritual psychology?
Spiritual psychology is the application of healing to that part of yourself that is hurting from the mind, body, and soul perspective. So a lot of it is psychology in a sense, like it is therapeutic,
Mm-hmm.
but the spirituality part acknowledges that you are a soul and a divine being, which sometimes psychology does not acknowledge, and they take away the soul and then you're just a mind, which is not truly a reality of how psychology was born in the first place. So it is kind of like a mesh of the two, but it's not like any particular practice in specifics, but it's more about that kind of awareness of like there's something else besides just my mind and my body and my emotions.
Well, I love that you just said that I love that you just said that because before I really understood about spirituality, I was very Christian church, everything was like more of the religion instead of the spirituality. And I always felt like I was a body with a soul instead of a soul in a body.
Yes, 100%.
Right. Um, and I find that right now, as we shift, I don't know if you're familiar about the 3D to 5D shift.
Yes.
Okay. Many don't even comprehend that. Um, but I find that this is something that people are going to have a hard time with letting go of all the religious doctrine and dogma that we've been spoon fed and being more accepting and aware of our actual spiritual selves and what we are capable of. And do you follow me with all this?
Yes, but I do think that it served its purpose up until now. So I do think that like things are not accidental, like they build upon each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
we are these holographic beings, and it's like it's like distant healing or like other modalities, right? They exist because there is the acknowledgement that there is a capacity for awareness of that. And once you can envision it, what you can access it. And I mean, I have my own, besides the practice of spiritual psychology, I even have farther like other things that I do on my own spiritual life. And I 100% um, think that up until now, maybe that's what each consciousness needed, and as a collective, to be able to access what's farther than that.
That makes sense.
Um,
Yeah. It's like you're baby stepping.
yeah, but also like having some sort of like, well, if we're gonna get into it, but
You have a great laugh.
I know my partner says that I laugh like a witch, like a cackle.
What?
I love it. It's like, yeah, it makes me feel like more powerful. But if you think about like levels of consciousness and evolution, right? Um, you're only able to work through what you need to work through in terms of a learning up to the level that you can, right? And so when I think so, I mean, I don't think this is everyone, but I do think that one of the quote unquote like spiritual crimes is to use religion or spirituality as a weapon against yourself or against others.
Uh-huh.
And I think that is part of like the quote unquote karma of that person that is using that like as something for harm instead of like something for upliftment, right? Like there is lessons to be learned at every stage of your consciousness, but also as collectives we have our own collective consciousness. So I think as we keep evolving, we need to have these lessons in order to let go of them and go to that next level. And so I think that the more these things are dismantled in a way, like kind of peeled back, and these lessons are learned and these lessons are like are transforming the consciousness of that collective, then new things can rise. And I think that there's also like this interesting how some people go the other way. It's like, well, like I've been hurt by this structure, therefore I no longer, I just throw everything out. I'm not going to participate in anything that is related to that. And I think that whether you like it or not, we're all spiritual beings. It's not something you do, something you are. It's doing it for you. So I just think that what we can work on is on our own awareness of who we are, and how in touch we are with our own spiritual evolution. That's just for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm new to this. I'm going to be honest. I'm very new to this. Like the words that you use, consciousness and collective. And I'm really just only learning about this in the last maybe year. So, but I find it very fascinating and I'm just sucking it up. And that's why I kind of wanted to ask you about that. Um, but I know that your topic for today is more about like presenting yourself with confidence. Is that right?
Yeah, well, a lot of the work, if I unstructuring everything that I've done up until now and just going to the core of it, like I was saying before, in my work, what I do is allow you to experience your own authentic self in front of the camera, right? And it's not even, the camera has nothing to do. It's just like how you're relating to yourself as you are putting yourself out there, as you are being seen, is the core of what I work with. Because that ties into, like, have you ever seen like some photo or some video and you're like, I know this person and that's not what they are like.
Oh.
And it just, something feels off, and you can tell they're either like, even though they're smiling and they look great on the photo, like they're tense, you can tell like, well, this person's feeling like trick. This is not, this is, even though the photo is amazing, it's not the best representation of that person. Or like, so you see somebody on video and then like they tense up, or I don't know, like sometimes it's like it's really hard to see like who they really are, because they're putting this kind of like persona. And so sometimes those things kind of peel away of the way that you actually want to be perceived, because if there people are working directly with you, once the all that's stripped away and they are with you, that's the real you they get.
So what I feel like I'm hearing you say is that when they're in front of a camera, that they kind of freeze up and
Yes.
become more plastic or fake or whatever.
Yeah,
So,
but it's not that the, like I feel like the word fake, it's a very interesting word, because like nobody wants to be fake.
true.
Like even like quote unquote the people that we all like as a society perceive like, oh, that person's fake, like that person does not want to be fake.
Well, it depends. You should see my husband. He gives me that whole client BS. But anyway, I digress. So go ahead, finish. I like this. I like where you're going.
Like it's not that they're doing it on purpose, it's just a coping mechanism by the emotional mental trigger that that instance is provoking in them. Like how, and this is why it's fascinating to me, because it's different for every person. Like I used to, if you see any photo of me like age, I would say 9 and above, I'm either super awkward, like what is she doing on the camera, or I'm just doing a grand pose, like I'm bringing in my persona that I feel comfortable with in order to endure what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I don't like pictures of myself. That's why I'm asking these questions. I really would rather be on video as because I'm more expressive than a photo. Like I do not like photos.
Well, I think that what I like about video and is that, like for example, like have you ever heard that saying like a photo is worth 1,000 words?
Yeah, picture's worth a
A
thousand
pic, yeah,
words.
picture, yeah.
Yeah.
So that comes from, because whatever you need to say on a video, you can use your words and express your thought of what you want to show, or like there's way more range, right? Give me an hour, I can handle that. I don't even need, I just need my outline of the things that I want to say. Give me 15 seconds. I need to strip that thing down into a script that I'm not like, take all the feelers out. I need to really spend time thinking what I'm going to be saying, right? And take a photo is like, it needs to be super, like, it needs to compress what you're going to say into just like 1 second, like in one snapshot,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes sense, right? As like you have way more range when you can talk on video.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I like it.
I wonder, why do you feel awkward? Do you think? Do you have a guess? What happens when you're like taking photos?
I just don't like pictures of myself. I always think, oh, my nose is too big, my lips are too small, my smile is too narrow. I just pick myself apart, see the bags under my eyes, the wrinkles on my forehead, or whatever. So, but I
Self-criticism is
always,
on the rise.
yeah, yeah, totally.
Mm. And so to me, it's not about the photo, it's about your own self-criticism,
Right. Probably, yeah. But is that what you
right?
find most common?
Well, self-criticism is a big one. I think there are a few of them. I feel like, for example, um, for others are different things that happen in their life that made them feel unsafe being seen, right? So how we relate to the camera is tightly relate to what we're making, the story we're making up about it, right? So if you're thinking about just for example, what you're saying about self-criticism, if your survival is dependent on being perfect, like maybe that's one of the ways that that's going to plug up, right? What does not being perfect mean for yourself or the younger self that went through that experience? Was there any time that it felt unsafe to be seen, or was there any time that you were imperfect and it felt not great? You know, like those are the moments that need the most loving, the most healing, the most compassion, right? And that's the kind of work that I like doing, because how you're relating to your photo is actually kind of, it's a neutral ground. It's not either good or bad. It's how you're making it feel about yourself that is like the trigger, right? And this doesn't mean that like you can't edit your photo.
With Photoshop.
No, I'm just saying like not nothing extreme. I'm just saying if all that's keeping you from sharing that photo or loving that photo is a mark that you had from like when you had an accident when you were 14. You know what I mean? Like, or like me, I'm filled with scars. It's fine. I
I
I
don't
was a very
see
clumsy
them.
kid. Oh, because I have I have great lighting.
Oh,
But
of course
also
you do.
I well, lighting is everything. But yes, I mean, if all that's keeping you from sharing the photo is like, for example, I have under also like I not only the scars, but like the under eye gray circles. Is that what's
Oh,
called?
dark circles.
Dark circles. Um, I smooth those out and I just like fix them sometimes on when I'm editing a photo, because sometimes I feel like um I'm like, oh, I don't like it, you know, so I just edit it. I don't think it's bad to edit a photo unless it's like something extreme, and then like then I do think that it goes into, for example, like are you changing your whole face? Then that's kind of like, okay, we need to work on loving yourself as you are. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I did this exercise. I had one Q&A inside a community recently about this topic, and one of the participants, she says like I'm a mom, I've given birth, my torso does not look the way it used to look when I was like 20, and I'm having a hard time taking self-portraits. And so we did an exercise where she was like seeing herself through like, what is that part of you that is hurting need from you right now in order for you to feel safe and loved and worthy of being seen? So the self-criticism turns into self-compassion.
Oh, I like that. That's beautiful. Well said. So I think that this is relevant right now for a couple reasons. Holidays are coming up, and many people don't want to be in front of the camera. They feel awkward. They just aren't in the mood. But I also was at a funeral recently, and I noticed that they showed all these pictures of this person and her family and her friends and her enjoying her life. And I thought, gosh, what if a person doesn't have a lot of pictures of themselves? Like we used to take pictures all the time. My kids were little, and we did scrapbooking and all that. But lately with the digital age and I just don't even print photos anymore. I don't scrapbook anymore. I've changed all of that. So I was thinking like, gosh, I think it's important to take more photos to capture those memories.
So I don't know if you knew this, but I don't know if I ever I don't know if I shared it publicly unless it's like in one of my master classes, but a couple of years ago, my friend James died of a heart attack. He beat cancer and then he just dies of a heart attack. Like, how does that, right? Beat cancer
I'm so
twice,
sorry.
then dies randomly of like, and obviously the video maker, I volunteered to make the memorial video. And I had done photo shoots with him. Like he had been my model for things. I have plenty of photos that are amazing of James. And leading up to the memorial, a lot of friends sent me their selfies for us to include in the memorial video. And I realized that I had 0 photos with him. And it broke my heart. And I was like, oh my God, here I am putting all these photos that I took of him, but I was hiding behind the camera all this time because I'm not skinny enough, because I'm not pretty enough, because my lips are too thin, because I have glasses. Like when I was a kid, I was bullied for it. Whatever that meant, which in reality, when it comes down to the photo or like in the moment, is not really loud. It's a very small voice that just keeps keeping you from doing the action. So it's not like this dramatic event that makes you think like, oh, I will not take this photo. You know what I mean? Like most of the times is a very small little kind of like, yeah, maybe I'm not doing this, you know? And when I was doing the memorial video, it was such a awakening of like, I've been deleting myself from my own history. And I started taking self portraits very intentional. And I started working with how I did with my clients, with myself. So it's very easy to do as I say, but not as I do, right? And I really took that like, okay, no, I'm gonna do what I preach. I'm gonna do this to the next level. And that's why I say I think self-portrait is an amazing way to get started with this, because you get to be in charge of your own timing. You're not rushed. You take your own time with your photo. You go through the whole process basically, and it's all starts with the intention of what you're doing. But I do think that I think there was a time where it wasn't even cool to take selfies. And so like I think that's how it even started. Is like, oh, I'm too cool for this, you know.
Well, you're young. When you're my age, I'm 56. Like it doesn't matter. I don't try to be cool anymore.
I mean, I love like yes, I'm happy with my cats and my.
And you are beautiful, Lucia. Don't sell yourself short. You have beautiful eyes. Gorgeous, gorgeous eyes, beautiful skin. I mean, when I first saw you, on the camera, I'm like, gosh, look at your skin.
Thank you. I just recently came back from Tulum from visiting my sister, and I think taking a little vacation really helps.
Yeah, getting out of that LA. Ugh, my son hates it down there. Um, but okay, so let's talk about your class and talk about your clients and all of that you got going on currently.
So I have a free masterclass that I teach the 5 steps to creating high quality photos of yourself. And I have a course that is a paid course that I teach self-portrait confidence. That is like, if you like the masterclass, then and you want to take it further, then the course is for you. I do take clients for brand photo shoots and video shoots, and I love working when it comes to video with crafting your own brand story from a place of public narrative, which is basically kind of stripping down your personal story as it relates to your brand from a very empathic place.
Wow.
Mhm. I know it's a wonderful process. Like realizing why you do what you do and how it relates to your story is it's it fills your purpose like heart, like it just connects you deeper to your mission. It connects you deeper, and also like it sells, right? It's like people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it anyway. um and no, and my clients have such success with these like 3-minute videos. Like one of them did a crowdfunding campaign and exceeded her funding. Another one, he actually had a product for diabetic chocolate and he wanted to enter a contest. He won second place. Um, yeah, I mean, all sort of like fun stuff that happens with when you share your story, you know. Which is, I think, why people love podcasts. You know, it's like I want to listen. Like people listen to you. I mean, the value you're delivering in the sense of like the content, it is also there, but they're falling in love with your story. They're falling in love with you. And that's what I like doing, the kind of videos that I like.
You're so cute. What kind of videos do you like?
Interview style
Oh,
videos, and I like making them very kind of like cinematic as well. So it's kind of like a docu style, but it's like about you.
that's fantastic. How can we see your work?
My website is luciadoynel.com. And
And
so there's the videos, the photos, everything, the courses, the classes you can take.
oh my gosh, how long have you been doing this exact like style of stuff?
I want to say 5 years. I'm terrible at keeping dates. I used to be a marketing director, like before going full in on my business. And that's why I was like, well, if I can do this for somebody else, like I might as well do it to grow my own business. And so I started growing it on the side for 2 years. And then I quit the job and then went full time. So I quit the job in 2018.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what is your very favorite thing to do for your clients? What do you love so much that you would do it?
Mm. Honestly, like my favorite thing is the first thing that they come to the studio, we just sit down and we just have a heart to heart about the intention and what's coming up for them. And these chats sometimes last like between 30 and 45 minutes, kind of like preparing people to get ready from the inside out. And usually we all cry. Like it's just like a very moving experience. And to me, that's everything. I didn't realize that that was the thing that I loved the most, because I'm a very creative person. Like if you walk into my house, you can see art on the walls that I've made, like ceramics that I've created. Like I'm a Renaissance woman in that sense. Like I love art and making and creative things. But the most creative thing is just to connect in a way. Like that's the spark.
That's awesome. Um, and your studio is in LA. Do you do stuff with people online too?
I've done, well, during quarantine, I tried a few things which were for fun. I've done a virtual photo shoot. It's super fun. I guess I can send you photos. They're amazing. But in a way, it feels like something that is a very specific that not everybody kind of like needs. It's like it's a very specific thing. Like if you want to troubleshoot some stuff, and I kind of direct you behind, and then I tell you where to put your phone, and I take the photos as I am seeing you through
Oh, how
FaceTime.
funny. So, okay, so going back to this workshop, tell me a little bit more about what you do. So, is this like something that they can do just using their phone?
Yeah, 100%. One of my students She even has like an old iPhone, like an iPhone 7, I want to say.
Hey, I have an iPhone 8. Watch it.
No, I don't even have the latest iPhone either. I'm just saying, like, you don't even have to have the latest technology to have a good photo. A good photo is a good photo, okay? Like, I don't care how you take it. Like, one of my favorite cameras, I bought it like for art school, was one of the cheap ones that I got like at, I don't know, for $200 an Nikon. And I'm telling you, like, that camera was amazing because it was small enough, but it could change the lenses. And I don't think it's about gear. I think gear is great, but it's not everything. How you're feeling, your expression, how you're posing, how you're creating the frame, the basically like what's in frame, what's not in frame, what story are you telling about your photo? All those things are fun.
That's
Like you were
cool.
talking about about your taking photos of your children. Like why do you think those are so fun? Because you caught them in the moment doing something and they're like, oh, this is a great moment, I'm gonna take a photo of it, you know? And
Yeah.
sometimes those moments are like so precious, they're the best.
I have like 20 creative remember, well, you probably are too young. Remember Creative Memories? Have you heard of Creative Memories?
No, but I also didn't grow up here, so.
Oh, okay. Well, Creative Memories is a way to make like really cool photo albums. And I used to do that. I'm pulling up your website. I want to see what I'm looking at. Um, I used to make all these like photo albums where you put stickers and paper and, like you see it at like craft stores, Michael's or whatever. Um, so it's like you just kind of capture, oh my gosh, Lucia, this is fantastic. Seriously.
I'm actually doing a new brand new workshop this Thursday. I know I didn't want I wasn't sure if should mention it just because it's too soon. And I'm teaching my 3-part framework to binge worthy videos because I feel like a lot of people get too stuck with like what should I say and like this is not going to work for me. And so I'm creating a new workshop. I'm going to see once I have it, I can just also send you the recording if you want to kind of catch it. Um and a lot of the things that people are asking like for the workshop has to do with like not only what to say, but like how to bring their ideas to life, because a lot of people have a lot of like knowledge. Like for example, like a lot of my friends that are coaches, they're like, I have like 30 years of experience, how can I put that into a 15-second video? Like I have like it's really hard to bring it down to a one little thing that they want to say. And I think that people are getting kind of like the other way around in terms of like, no, it shouldn't be like that. It's like you need to show up authentically as what already works for you, and bring that and make that into, okay, this works, this is a great concept, let me edit this video from my coaching call into a 15-second reel, you know? This
God,
is a great point of view.
there was a reason you came on the show today. I wish I lived closer to you. I'm on your website looking at all of these beautiful photos and I'm just like blown away. So you're very talented and you're very wise for a young woman. And I don't mean that derogatory that you're young. I'm just saying you're a wise young woman,
Thank you.
It's
I think that
awesome.
when you go through like like I think I've always felt that way. Like even when I was like like in my teens, like I felt like my age did not match how I felt inside.
Uh,
And I think it's because my mom passed away when I was very young, when I was 14. And before that, she was sick my whole life.
oh, I'm
She
sorry.
had an autoimmune disease called Sjogren's syndrome, which is very rare.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
And but it's really rare and it's really hard to diagnose. So she spent a lot of her life without knowing until it was brought down to that. And it still has no cure. So it was really hard for her to live with that disease. And um, I think that shapes you, like those kinds of experiences kind of are a fast track sometimes to seek for answers and ways of dealing with that. Like when she died, I was like trying to control like so many things because everything felt so out of control. Like I started like binging and purging, staying up super late, just like depression. Like the reason I seeked healing is because I was hurting. Like I didn't really went to study spiritual psychology thinking, oh, I'm gonna become a therapist or a coach or something. I was just like, oh, I just want to heal. I just want to feel at peace.
Where did you get that degree?
USM, they
What's
no
that?
longer exist at
Mm,
University of Santa Monica. They closed down. Now they offer something different online, but it's not the same program.
that sounds like a really interesting. How old
Yeah,
were you when you started that program? Because that program reminds me of something that somebody would take when they're older.
I know. I was like my mid 20s.
Okay. That's cool. I'm really fascinated by all that stuff because like I said, I've always been very Christian, doing my Bible study and feeling very, content. But now I'm realizing how much bigger everything is and how much more deeper it goes. And I'm just enthralled and I just want to suck up all the knowledge that I can, and all the experiences surrounding the knowledge and be in people's presence who comprehend that
Mhm.
deepness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I grew up, Argentina is a very Catholic country. It's so funny because my dad is kind of like an atheist or agnostic. I don't even know which one at this point, but like he didn't want to baptize us, me and my sister, when we were kids because like, oh, they should choose their own religion. But you can't really do that when you are in a country that is like extremely Catholic, like
Yeah.
um so and even though we went to a non-religious school, by the age of I think 6 or 7, I was like, oh, I want to get baptized. I want to. I told like my dad, I want to get baptized. I want to have my first communion. I want to go to take me to church. And I'm like, and he was like, where are you coming from? Like, it's like, no, we are not going to wake up early on a Sunday.
Yeah, I hear you. I took my
Um,
kids to church by themselves. So that is interesting. So, listen, it was a pleasure having you on the course. Where can people find course? I was thinking of your course, having you on the show, and tell us where can people find you and how can they sign up for your free workshop?
Um, so if you're listening to the recording after this Thursday, the 11th,
Yeah, they will be.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I don't know how fast you work. um, so you can just go to selfportraitconfidence.com/masterclass to watch a free masterclass called 5 Steps to Creating High Quality Photos of Yourself without feeling awkward. And I go deeper into a lot of what we talked today, but also like actually how to produce high quality photos of yourself with your phone or whatever you have. And stay tuned because I might just later on do the workshop, the second workshop again. So
Is that the one that's this Thursday?
yeah, so I'm once you're in my list, I mean, I'm probably gonna keep you up to date if I give it again and or if I make it as a pre-recorded thing. So
Yeah, I want to see it. I mean, looking at your photos, I'm like, okay, I have so much room for improvement. I'm not good at marketing myself, especially lately. I've been so frustrated with current events and things that I've kind of let my foot off the gas on, building my brand that I've had forever. Here's a funny story for you that you can appreciate from your marketing perspective. When I started High Energy Girl, I was working with a branding coach, and she said, go and ask people their 3 top adjectives of you. And everywhere I went, high energy, high energy, high energy. So that became my brand. But here's the funny thing. About 3 years ago, I started learning about quantum physics and about energy healing and Reiki and Qigong and, all of the universal energy. And now that's what I'm more interested in, than just, oh, I am hyper, high, I have extremely natural high B12. Crazy, right? So, but anyways, I just thought you'd find that fascinating since you come from that spiritual realm and the branding and all that. So,
Well, I usually say this inside my chorus, but it's like when you are creating kind of like a mood board or a brand or whatever, is as if your future self is calling you forward. So it doesn't surprise me.
Girl, I'm telling you, you are a wise young woman. And I have to tell you that I'm seeing a lot in your aura and in your background. Do you have children?
No, not yet. But I have 2 cats that are like my children.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. No, I really am. It's a great wall because I can see a lot there. Anyways, I just
Tell me
want to thank
more.
you. I want to thank you so much. Do I have cards here? I'll pull a card for you. I don't do this very often, but when I have spiritual type
I
people,
love cards.
I did an Angel Academy and I was actually asked to be in it from my teacher from the angels. They were bugging her and they said, you have to do the course again and you have to have these 5 ladies in it for free. And I was one of them. And so I was honored because this is in the beginning of my journey. And I'm just like, okay, well, if they ask me to be in it, I'll be in it. But my thing is I want to be a healer more than like a medium. I don't have that interest as much. I just want to be a healer. In 2011, I painted in my kitchen, healer, heal thyself, because my nutrition teacher said that to me. He's very spiritual, and we were in San Francisco. He's from New York, and he looked at me and he goes, healer, heal thyself. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So it spoke to me. So I painted it. And now that's what I want to do, is just be like an energetic healer.
I love that. I took some courses on like pranic healing. Have you heard of it?
Breath work?
Pranic healing.
Isn't pranic like breathing?
It's from the prana, it's from your energy field.
Okay. Okay.
I'll send you a book. I'll send you a book, and I also have one of my favorite deck of cards. It's called Rumi Angel Cards.
Oh.
Do you have that? Do you have that deck? It's purple.
No, I have.
I'll send you that one too. You're gonna love it.
So cute. Okay, I'm gonna read this to you.
Yes.
8 of air, an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, afraid to take action. Is there something going on? Because that does just not resonate with me.
Say that again.
I'm pulling a backup. An illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, afraid to take action. And then I'm topping it with the Ace of Water, falling in love, or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth, and enhanced intuition, a new home.
Ooh.
So Ace is new beginnings. Well, what I'm thinking it means.
Oh, I do think it. I know. I mean, I'm guessing. I think I may know what it is.
Okay, what do you think it is?
So, I've been going back and forth about a new program I want to create. And like, you know what I was telling you about, like, if I strip everything that I do to the core, what I do is that like level of transformation. I think that up until now, I've used the container of photography and biography because it's a very creative and very I relate to it in a very versatile way, right? I'm very knowledgeable in the skills that you need to have, and also how to teach those skills for others to do themselves. And I think more and more I've been craving that coaching connection that I told you, like before we even stepped into the studio, like that kind of like, um, yeah, that one, the kind of spark that goes within that moment of healing and transformation, facilitating that. And I've been going back and forth about a program I want to create that would be a catalyst for that versus the it is about photo and video, but it's really not. It's about all the other stuff. And so I feel like that's kind of like maybe what the illusion of separation that I'm having between the two.
I think that's wise because think about how you called me out on my own personal shit with my big nose, my small lips, you know? So you got that intuitively as soon as I started saying why I don't like pictures of myself. So I think you're onto something with that. And I think that a lot of women, in my experience, most women don't feel strong emotionally or physically. And so that would take care, that would help with their emotional strength. At least that's my perspective. So
Mm,
I think you should. And
thank
an
you.
ace
Thank
is
you
new
for sharing.
beginnings. An ace is new beginnings. So there you go. There's your answer. Do it. Yeah, that's right.
It's like snap out of it, Lucia.
Just do it. Not that I
Yeah.
love Nike, but just do it. Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have come to you if it wasn't, needed. And you can do muscle testing on it. Just, see
Mm,
where you go. I like the
yeah.
standing one.
Oh,
You
this
know,
one?
when you stand and then you ask a question, and if you lean forward, it's a yes, and backward, it's a no.
Oh, yeah, I like that. I've never had it like that. Usually that it would like go strong for yes,
Oh,
weak for no.
yeah.
And I usually just do it also like this, either yes, no.
Yeah, this doesn't work for me. Look, my name's Lucia.
Well, it's like the intention that you're telling your body is like, okay, if it opens up, it's a no. If it stays, it's a yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember. I always do the forward, backward one now.
Is it, and also it's like the question is like, is it clear for me to take this step, or is it like it's about, I think it's like also like how you ask the question is like so very important in muscle testing. I did a whole like
Yes.
spiritual science course about muscle testing, and I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, that's cool.
I don't do it enough.
I think our world is stepping into that direction. And I believe that the golden age of mankind is before us, and it's going to be a quick flip. And I think we're nearly there. And I cannot wait to watch everything transpire. But I feel like we're just super close, and it's going to be beautiful and magical. And I can't wait.
Mm, I feel that.
So Lucia, how can people find you? Are you on Instagram, social? Where are you? Where can people find you?
Mostly on Instagram at De Lucias. And I know, so clever. Because I'm a Gemini, and I felt like, oh, I'm not just one Lucia, I have many Lucias. Uh, that's just mostly and I started a TikTok account, but I'm trying to be more active there, which is just at Lucia Doynel. And that's it. And on Facebook, I just have a few groups that I host for my students, but I'm not really active as a page. If that
Okay,
makes
so
sense.
Instagram, I like, well, you're a photographer. That just makes perfect sense, right? My
Mm.
youngest son is a photographer
Oh,
and he's good with photo and video. He needs to put himself out there. He hasn't yet.
well, is he the one that's in LA?
No, Nick is in
Oh,
LA. David still lives up here. I live in the Bay Area. Um, so he's up here. And then my oldest is in New York and he works at Freeze Magazine, which is an art magazine in New York.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, if you ever want him to send him my way for tips and stuff to get started with the photo stuff, I'm happy to share.
Oh, you're a doll. Thank you. I'll mention that I had a photographer on my show. He'll be like, "Oh." I don't even know what he'll say, but I'll just see and I'll let you know.
Was
Well,
like
thank
not that
you.
not like your regular photographer, so
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yeah, he's actually I would love to see him do something with film. He's just got this eye and he's really talented behind the camera and editing, and he's just really does beautiful work. So I'm really
Mm.
proud of him. He's been doing it for so long, Lucia. His high school photo teacher had him shoot her wedding.
Oh my God, that's
Hmm.
massive.
Yeah, he's only 24.
That's
So
great. That's a great place to start too.
yeah. Yeah. So he just needs, hopefully, this whole COVID stuff blows over by next year. I'm just praying to God that it's gone. I've been told it's gone by Christmas, that we're going to be back to normal. So I hope it's true. And he's considering moving down there. So because he wants to be with my other son. So I'm just praying that everything shakes out
Things
and he can
go
go.
smoothly.
Mhm.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Love and light to all that.
Thank you. And thank you so much for coming on the show. You are an absolute doll and you're going to go amazing places beyond your wildest dreams.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for hosting me. It was so amazing to talk with you and just to geek out.
Geek out. Yeah, I'm totally a geek. I don't care anymore. I'm too old. I don't have any more F's to give.
And they're with you.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will be in touch, my dear. Well, that was a lot of fun. This girl is a wise young woman, and I hope you go and sign up for her class that is coming up. I will post a link in the show notes page where you can find it at highenergygirl.com/show. All right, that is it. Go out and make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. This podcast contains the opinion and thoughts of its host and guests. It is intended to provide helpful and informative material on the subjects covered. All statements made on the podcast have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. If the listener requires professional assistance or advice, please contact your personal medical doctor. Both host and guest specifically disclaim any responsibility for any liability, loss, or risk, personal or otherwise, which is incurred as a consequence directly or indirectly of the use and application of any of the contents of these episodes. Like I said, this is my opinion and I could be wrong.